You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the July 23rd, 2024 meeting of the LaPorte County 2025 Budget Hearing, Part 2. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
We're gonna pick up where we left off before lunch. Yes, can you hear me? All right, next item is a recorder, and it's accounts 137 is the first one. 104.
Used to.
Never mind, I'm sorry, I was looking at the prosecutor. 104.
That's the salaries.
Not a lot there.
I do have a few questions.
Sure.
We're good. Last year, from the 104 account, there's only 3 items here, but last year I thought we had moved the first deputy over into the Recorder Perpetuation Fund. That was my memory on it.
Correctly.
However, when I go to the Recorder Perpetuation Fund, I don't see the first deputy. So I don't know if the first deputy is
That
included
was
in a different
on
line.
your request for 1 year, and that's 1 year.
Yeah, but you're sitting with $1 million in your perpetuation.
Not quite. And
Well, how much are you sitting in there?
800?
So you only agreed to pay for it for 1 year?
Correct. That was a request from
It
you.
was my request. She said we'll try it this year and see where we stand next year. That was what we said.
How do we stand this year? To keep it going?
I feel that we should go back to paying the first deputy from general fund. As it stands, the salaries, benefits that are paid from perpetuation fund add up to $160,271.
Without this extra.
That's already, that's just the salaries and benefits. Everything else in my office is paid out of perpetuation fund too.
So 800,000 in.
125,271 is what you put. I'm sorry. I apologize, you were speaking.
Go ahead.
So the 800,000 in the perpetuation fund sounds good. What is you're saying that there's less revenue coming in because of
A lot
changes
less.
to how many people are recording documents?
Correct. It's, excuse me, it's a lot less. I would say, year to date, when I looked at the numbers, it's about a third of what we normally would have had.
So
What's the number?
I'm sorry?
When you say a third, just give me the number.
I don't have the total, but what goes into the general fund portion, it's only about 88,000 the last time I looked. Normally would have been 150 or more.
How much has your perpetuation fund taken in the first 6 months of this year?
About the same as general fund. It's pretty evenly split.
One more time, 180,000 or 88,000.
88, yeah,
That's 90,000.
correct.
So if you paid this, you'd still have 800,000.
No, I wouldn't, because if I use this budget, we're talking
Well,
about half of the money left then.
yeah, because
So then if we keep spending this quickly, in 2 years, you'll have to cover everything, or just about everything from general fund. So we need to think long
Yep.
game.
So last year, at the beginning of last year, how much money did you have in the fund last year?
I believe it was about $1 million.
Okay, so I had $1 million. So we're only 200,000. So
which means it's the same as
do you see that being I understand what your point of it is, but if we lasted one more year, at that point, we could even reverse things. We could take another person off of that. We could do whatever go ahead. Go ahead.
No, if you want to keep going,
Go ahead.
My comment is when we take a look at the Record Perpetuation Fund, I did have another question, because now all of a sudden we have a 30120 account, other services, for 200,000, and I wanted to ask what that was about, because that is gonna that takes it.
That
account
is
down.
for the book preservation, and the perpetuation fund was created
For
to
that.
Yeah, I know.
take care of
And when are you,
our records, not to be a supplement for general fund, frankly.
so there's 200,000. How many books are you going to take care of? Or, I mean, how many books
Roughly
do you have?
200.
Roughly 200. So you're going to eat up a fair amount of your fund, and you're going to take care of 200. How many books do you have overall that you need to take care of?
Oh, a lot more than that.
Loads.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, what you're trying to do is do a big catch up on taking care of those books.
Correct.
While we know the funds are available. I didn't have a problem with moving funds back as much as I have a problem not knowing where it was recorded.
And, you know,
In
I would
perpetuation,
not
but
feel
that's not
right
yours.
using the money for, you know, expenses that typically general fund covers and ignore or neglect my,
Yeah, no, I
As a
forgot
reporter.
that if there was a 1-year request, I didn't realize that. So that was on me.
I made the motion.
Yeah, that was on me, so I
I
don't
mean,
have.
I know we can spend the money, but if we go at the rate we're going, and if our income doesn't change, then you'll be
The
coming up
income's
with a
not
lot
gonna
more.
change unless the economy changes, because we're not selling as many homes.
The
We're not
economy-
recording everything.
Economy's
Well,
changing.
and a huge portion of our business was refinancing, which is not happening.
It's not gonna refinance at
Yeah.
our rates.
And so, you know, I want to be sure, because I have to put up a sworn statement that I have enough money to take care of what needs taken care of. And if we spend that money so quickly,
But
then, you know,
right, but we get mixed reviews because in one sense, we're saying in the investment side, they're saying they're gonna lower interest rates. Well, if they're gonna lower interest rates, things are gonna pick up for you,
potentially.
potentially. So it
But
can't
I
all
can't,
be,
I'm not in the business of
everybody can't be
speculation.
bad. I know, so.
And, you know, my responsibility is to make sure that there's enough money to take care of
And
things.
this is 53,000. I mean, if it got really bad, she could cut back on the books, but, you know.
But that's the purpose of the,
But that's the purpose of the other. So
to be-
let's just look at the one. I'll make a motion to move forward with, as she requested, the elected official 71,000, the chief deputies at 60,000, and the first deputy at 53,000 for a total of 185,000.
Second.
I feel that if things, you know, pick up, next year I can pick up extra salary. I mean, there's no reason why we can't go.
we can see how things go.
Yeah, we're
Exactly.
having a flat year. We'll just react after.
Exactly. We can adjust as we go.
You get to $1 million, we're coming after it though. Just good.
In the middle of the year.
I'll get my finding.
Hopefully the economy does turn around and things boom. I mean, we wish the best. Motion by Mike Rosenbaum, seconded by Justin Keel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next. Well, under.
Right next to it's a,
Both of you, Nate?
Oh, just me.
Just Mark.
I heard a nay from Councilman Cunningham, I thought.
No,
I didn't say
No.
anything.
Yagowski.
Oh, I apologize.
Next one is 1189.
yes, 1189.
It says 291 on the sheet.
No, I looked at 1189. That's the
It's your perpetuation.
perpetuation
And
fund.
then we have one more after that.
Yes, 1217. That's the elected officials training fund.
And I've already asked you about the books, which is the big other services cost,
Right.
because we're going from, and it's your perpetuation fund.
Right.
You got quarter, you got general fund, you got 1116, you got 1180.
Your numbers aren't the same as mine.
That's over here. That's location, there's fund.
I'm with you. All right, they're backwards. Never mind.
I know
All right,
you wanted that
I got it.
espresso.
Yeah. All right, continue. What do you want to do with the,
I'll motion to approve it as presented.
At 209,000 increase, is that what you're saying, Mike?
Yes, I have actually it's $186,000 increase. We got to remember, it was the number here in the book is taking the request to request, but request to adopted, it's only $186,000 or $187,000 rounded up increase. And the big bulk of that is removing the one salary apparently and adding the $200,000 in services for the bookers. So I put the motion out there.
motion by Rosenbaum?
For fund.
Second.
And what fund number is this?
This is 1189. Now, you may have a location of 324.
I'm not, that's a location. I got fund 1160 and 1189.
I do not have an 1160.
That's my question. I'm looking at this going, my
You
number,
don't have an 1160?
I might have it, but it's
it
probably one of
12,
those that I didn't budget anything for it. It's a zero.
what are we, on your,
No,
on
no, on
your
the
sheet?
sheet.
On this
Don't pay
sheet?
attention to that sheet. Yeah, no, that was an old one. I wouldn't, don't look at those funds on the sheet. Everything in your book is what you're doing.
So just tell me which fund we're doing.
We're doing this one 1189.
All right.
And you have myself.
You and Adam. Any other questions?
Want to repeat the motion, please?
A motion to, as presented.
Okay.
No change.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Next one is 1217. Yes, Mr. Yagowski?
No. Tim
Oh.
was gonna-
Peace sign.
He's
There he was. 1217.
victory.
That's the elected officials training fund.
Is this just to make it easier so that?
Right, so you don't have to do
Front?
transfers every couple of months.
And again, since it's in a fund, motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll
Got one name.
I'll have the sworn statement attached to the,
I know you're talking
records, and
about.
then
Yep.
you guys will have to vote on the, resolution or whatever
All
it
right.
is. So I'll have that prepared too.
Great.
I had one nay. One nay, two nays.
I only heard one, but.
Okay,
There's one.
yeah, he said it. All right,
Animal shelter.
animal shelter,
Number?
156. I just gotta get it moved over in my Excel spreadsheet.
I know we've covered this a number of times. The increase to the extra higher part-time seasonal help, that has a lot to do with the lack of having a vet, correct?
The number of animals, and yes.
Okay.
Plus, are the vet techs in there, in that part? also?
Part-time, yes, that covers the vet tech.
Right, so we increased that dollar amount above and beyond the part-time limit to get vet techs in, because when we did have a vet coming in, he would bring techs from his office, and they obviously make a lot more money than the 16.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I don't even think it was 16, so.
So in here, just to highlight, the big increases were there's 20,000 for the part-time or help.
Part-time.
Because you've been using your
We're having
fund,
you-
donation fund to help
Yep.
cover, but at some point, there's a little increase on the deputy, but that's, and then there's everything else.
The increase on the deputy, is that a step?
I believe it was.
Right, I mean,
Not indicated, but for that amount, it's gotta be something like that. 'Cause it's only
can't
700.
imagine why else you'd put increase in for one person, so.
Mhm. I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
I don't like going up, but.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, second by Mr. Keel. Is there any other questions? I just want to echo what we've talked about in council meetings, that the search continues for a veterinarian to come in, and because right now they are burning through donation money and part-time money by running animals around to other facilities, and they're having to pay for these services instead of having the vet there, so.
Right now, we're on a hold because
Right.
of the water damage and everything, so.
We're still waiting on the insurance company and everything else, so.
That sucks.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
thank you and thank you for your service.
And thank you for your continued
Thanks.
service.
Did you
right
say
now.
as presented?
Yes. No changes.
Well,
That's report.
All right. don't remember his last name. He was
Jimmy Carter death announcement.
Oh.
Where that come from?
Coroner is 107.
107.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What are you paying out of your professional services account?
My deputy coroners. That's where they get paid for calls.
Okay.
They get paid
By call.
Yeah, by call. And what's the rate? 150 or did it
150.
increase? It didn't increase yet. Okay.
The reason I requested an increase, I have all of my deputies, with the exception of my chief, run on call. If they do not get a call during the time that they're scheduled, they don't get paid. I would like to be able to offer for a 12-hour shift a $25 stipend, and for a 24-hour shift a $50 stipend. I mean, they can't leave the county, they can't, there's a lot of things they cannot do. There's a lot of things they still can do, obviously, but you know, when you're sitting on call for 12 hours, you can't leave the county, you can't really plan to go out to, you know, a dinner, a party, anything like that, and they're making no money for it. Plus the fact that all of these deputies pay their own taxes. They're all 1099 at the end of the year. So, you know, even if they would make up, say, $10,000 a year on calls, they're not really making that by the time they take and pay all their taxes. And they all have other jobs, which sometimes potentially throws them into another tax bracket, which incurs more taxes for them.
I completely understand about the $25 and the 50, regardless of the dollar amount, because it's. I think you walk a fine line when you're requiring people. You put restrictions on their life without compensating them. So I'm just, without going into great detail.
Okay.
Are you proposing $25 per shift if they have no call, or just 25 no matter what?
If they have no call. If they get a call while they're scheduled on,
They don't
then
get the 25.
They don't get the 25. They just get whatever their call pay was.
Well, I don't know how the sheriff's department's doing it right now, but I know their detectives are on call on weekends, and I don't know if they get any compensation. That's if you, it used to be that you'd get a day off when you could, but I don't know how they're doing it now, and that would always depend on if you had something over the weekend that you were on call and you had to answer to, you had to come in anyway and usually finish up paperwork and that, and so I disagree.
I know Michigan City Police get either comp time or they get something for every 8 hours they're on call.
But they're regular employees.
They're regular employees.
So we're the sheriff's deputies.
Yeah,
This is, I'm talking.
These are getting
Like,
nothing
I can't-
unless they get a call.
Right. I can't
Right.
give them comp time. What am I going to comp them? I mean,
Unlimited. Yeah. No, I get it. What's your preference?
Motion to approve as presented. It's a
Second.
$5,000 increase overall.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, second by Mr. Keel.
I would ask, do you feel that the numbers that are on here for autopsies are reflective of what your costs are going to
No.
be in 2025?
not at all. Each year I come back and request more, and I'm told that the reason they have not increased it to closer to what we normally spend a year is that because it's an expense that I obviously can't predict, and because there are certain circumstances that autopsies absolutely have to be done, it's the state law. Come back, I'm going to request it, and it's going to be granted. But the grilling that I have to take every year coming back is brutal. I mean,
I'm sure you're not the only one. The last 5 people before you did the same.
well, okay, but so
You know, you ran for the
add
job.
me to the group.
Well,
The problem is that we talked to last night, and she gave a good example of it. The prosecutor sit back there. He didn't come up and speak up for it. He
Right.
picks whoever wants to pick. They do what they want to do. They don't give her. She's supposed to be the person making the decision in the county.
Right, exactly.
When you go to this court in order, you go to the meetings that you go to, Indianapolis or wherever you go. What do they say of other ones? They say you guys, your hands are all tied. That let
Basically, if it goes to the prosecutor
or attorneys.
and they say, we want the autopsies done, then we have to do them.
See, we try to say that we could say force the attorneys or the prosecutor or the court case to put those fees onto the people that are getting it for it. It's to their benefit. It's not our benefit. The county gets no benefit whatsoever.
You know,
Right.
with the drug overdoses. I mean, I understand the concept, but the numbers that I've heard of how many people were actually prosecuted and charged
That's exactly right.
are
And when they get
so
charged,
extremely low.
it's not that they're adding the $3,000 for the autopsy into the restitution that's coming back, and there's no.
You're correct. And the best what you heard last night, drownings. Okay,
Right,
they drowned.
right.
But it could be they were intoxicated or.
But we can do a toxicology
Here,
to determine that.
Whose responsibility is that? If the person drinks and goes out and drowns, or the person drowned because he slipped, he's still drowned.
Well, just from, I'll say, kind of personal reasonings, the insurance companies are going to require that.
Then let the insurance put it have to the courts, and the insurance pay for it. There are ways to pay people get reimbursed. I'm agreeing 100% with you.
Yeah.
Bottom line, if there weren't shady people in this world,
But bottom line though too is that people
wouldn't have to do
are
anything.
benefiting off of us. We should make them pay their amount of money. I'm agreeing.
okay. All right.
Absolutely. I did do some checking about autopsy cost. There are very few places close to us where anybody does autopsies. I talked to St. Joe County. They go to Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's an hour and a half away from us, so it's 3-hour round trip. 2 hours for an autopsy, and then pick up and drop off. That's a minimum of 6 hours just for that one person. And I have to have somebody available to do that. Like I said, I have one person who works days right now, which we're going to talk about that in a minute. My other people all have full daytime jobs, and they work in the evenings. The autopsies are $500 less per autopsy. But when you start thinking about if we do 2-3 a week, now I've got 18 hours a week tied up for somebody that I've got to pay to drive to Kalamazoo.
You're not going to save any money.
Exactly. Fort Wayne is the other one. Dr. Wagner, he's substantially less. He's $1,500 for an autopsy, but it's an 8-hour trip for one autopsy. So I wouldn't be saving any money by outsourcing and going farther out.
There's
for
nobody
someone
towards
else.
Lake County or.
The pathologist that I use covers LaPorte County, Porter County, Marshall County, Lake County, and one other one.
That's okay.
Doesn't matter.
So,
Right.
so he's traveling all of these counties.
If we think that this is going to be close to 200,000 for autopsy expenses, why don't we bump the budget up to be a little bit closer to that? I mean, I guess I get what Mr. Yagelski's trying to do by putting pressure and continuing this conversation about something needs to be done about it, but really it's just making it harder for us to budget what we think we're actually going to spend.
But for $50,000 more, you know that you're gonna at least have that next year in the riverboat fund. So you know that because it's a variable, we can't control the number of deaths. I was just gonna ask about vital statistics.
I see what's your average
and
has been?
see.
I'm sorry?
What's your average been on autopsies for the last 3 years?
As far as the number?
Dollar wise.
Oh, well, was in 2022 it was 156. 2023 this says 142, but there's not accurate because I'm able to move money. When I see I'm getting really low, I can move money from like my x-ray lab and morgue over to cover autopsies. So, it's
See, this further just makes it difficult for us to see what's really going.
Right,
No
but-
offense to you, but like when we don't put enough money in there to start with, we don't even know what we're spending in it.
But-
Now we don't know how much of a problem we
It's
have.
an example. In 2024, halfway through the year, she spent $2,335 on X-ray labs and morgue. Whereas if she's on track for that,
Be 11.5.
you'll have money to
right.
move over there.
Right.
Right.
And I don't have a problem doing that, but then again, like you said, it's hard to track. I mean, I suppose I could, but it's hard to track what we're actually spending if I'm moving money from here to there. I mean, I'm happy to do it. It's there. You know, it was approved, so I can do it, but
Would you feel comfortable with us dropping X-ray lab morgue like 13,000 and moving
No.
that over to autopsy?
no.
No. Okay.
No.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any other things we want to do, or? Doesn't seem like.
Was there anything else you wanted to cover?
Yes. I've asked this several times and I've never been able to come up with anybody with a good answer. My chief deputy, as I said, is the only person that works days. Right? For the month of July, she is scheduled on call 270 hours. Her salary is $25,000 a year. Other than the 10% increase that was given back in 2022, she had not had a raise prior to that for 5 years. I would really appreciate if somebody could tell me where I have to go.
Why did she not get a raise for 5 years prior to that? If she got the 10,000, 10%, why did she not get the other
The
percentage?
2% or whatever, yeah.
Because she's considered part-time, first of all, and part-timers weren't included.
We gave part-time raises. They weren't as much. They got half, but we always give part-time people.
Well, she's part-time. I think you answered your own question.
Yes.
Well, her job
is-
classification is part-time. 270 hours a month is not a part-time job.
But if she's part-time, she's part-time.
Right.
The fact that you're working her more hours than what part-time allows,
She's not working her more
I'm
often,
not-
she's on call.
She's on call because there is nobody else. I mean, I have 5 other deputies, all who have full-time day jobs.
That sounds like a hiring problem.
Well, it is because a lot of people don't want to sit and make no money when they're on call.
And
or
somebody
they
that's
don't wanna
working,
pay.
well, there's gotta be somebody that's working nights instead of days. I mean, you got 5 people that are working days.
They're all working nights
so
and
we're giving,
weekends.
we're
Working
offering,
full-time jobs.
Working daytime full-time jobs.
Find somebody that's working a night full-time job, then they're available during the daytime.
it's that easy.
It's that easy.
But we did approve the stipend, so that could help that.
She. Oh,
what?
okay. That would
Would she
help.
qualify for that?
No,
Why?
because she's a salaried employee.
She's part-time.
I was told she cannot receive a stipend if she is a part-time employee.
The other ones are
Paid
just,
by the county.
It just,
She's a salaried
it should be
employee.
added in as payroll.
it would. it
She's
would
a
be-
salaried employee,
because-
so she
because
cannot
it would
receive
be
a stipend.
compensation, and it would put her over the.
Is this an appropriate thing to fix during a job valuation committee?
Question for Guy. Guy, are you on
Yeah, he was on.
Zoom?
I was talking to
Guy, are you there?
Hang on. He was talking to him earlier.
The issue is when she's part-time, and then you give her more money, it's all compensation. It all goes towards it. But it wouldn't put her, it still wouldn't change it if if her hours are the same. What difference?
Right. That's why I'm asking for an increase in her salary.
No. We'll just do it. Hang on. We'll do it over. Hang on.
Right.
She can't be she can't be a part-time salary employee.
She is. I'm telling you.
That's the question.
Are you there?
I am.
Can she be a part-time salary employee?
He is no.
The chief deputy in the coroner's office.
I don't think so.
Salary, part-time.
Okay.
What is that? So let me ask you that. Let me just say this. Just on my general knowledge of part-time, you're limited to your hours, and if you're salary, you're exempt, and you're going to work them past that. That is.
You can't be non-exempt.
You can't be non-exempt and be salary and work unlimited hours and go you're part-time. Those two things don't go in the same sentence.
Okay. If you look up her job description, and my position as well, are both considered part-time. But because I'm an
You're
elected,
elected official.
right? But her job is
Right.
classified as part-time.
Right. Elected officials are different things.
How can we do it?
Yeah.
Can you hear? Talk louder.
He's not on by phone. He's talking on my
I
phone.
didn't hear. Is that Mark?
No, he's not.
Yeah, Marcus, just telling him you're not on Zoom, you're on the phone.
Yeah, by phone. I told you, the attorney's traveling.
Do what?
I can be on Zoom in 7 minutes. I had an appointment.
You can hear him now. All right. So that's something we're gonna have to look at,
Okay.
because
Well, I
she's,
don't know that it has to be looked at.
but the thing is she can't be part-time and be a salary
And be
employee.
salaried, correct.
Right. There's limitations by law as to how many hours she can work.
Correct.
But so the question comes in, she's asking for a $25 stipend for people that are on call for 12 hours, half a day, that don't get a call. So they're sitting around, so it kind of gives them some incentive to sit around and wait for a call. Would that part-time,
I think that's fine.
would that
Would be
part,
like that's a per diem type of thing.
right, and so that part-time person would be eligible for that?
Yeah, because what they're doing is they're making themselves available.
Right, okay. All right,
What, we were to approve this budget with the exception of that item.
What's
We
the one?
work on putting together some numbers and then we
Yeah,
bring
it's
that
a
back up
100
tomorrow.
account, so just work,
Don't carry it over.
Okay.
Just do carry it over. You're-
all right. Thanks, Guy.
Yep. Okay.
I'm back. So if we, do you still want to approve the $5,000 stipends?
No, let's just do it 2 and 3.
Fine.
Well, that's a,
It's an increase from 40 to 45,000.
and that's a 300 account.
Yes.
Maybe I would probably offer up amending the motion to approve the 200s and 300s as was presented, and we'll come back to 100s later.
That's what we're doing on pretty much
I
every,
thought that's what we should be doing on
that's
the,
everything.
or that was implied
It's a blanket.
without us even saying
Okay.
from the start. We
All right,
probably should have.
so we got a motion to approve as presented and seconded. So any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Uh,
Those opposed?
Yeah,
So it looks like,
What's his name? Somebody join me. What's his name?
excited.
Mike?
Mark. All right.
Get it?
So, and then we can hopefully get that worked out with your chief deputy, so
Okay.
she gets a little something extra.
Boy Scout.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next one is Circuit Court. One,
If she had anything else, it's all your fault.
huh?
You asked her if she had anything else.
No, Justin did.
Well, Justin. Okay.
Justin.
You asked her if she had anything else. Let's go.
Sure. 148, Circuit Court.
He said 148.
He's next on the list.
Right?
You want to skip over?
Is juvenile here?
They're right here. Juvenile
You
probation.
guys wanna go?
Let's
Let's do circuit court.
do probation, juvenile.
Let's look at circuit court. Maybe we can do it without him.
Probation.
She said Chris Nichols is coming over.
She retired, she can't even come over.
She's back.
So you wanna go juvenile probation?
Yep,
Come on up.
since they're here.
Come on down.
76,
So we got
176.
Dion up there too. For juvenile services.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Come here.
Yeah, because of,
154?
This is 176.
176 is
154
first.
for juvenile
176 is first. Oh, okay.
76, yeah.
We're doing juvenile
this is juvenile
probation.
probation.
We're doing juvenile probation. Right.
No, you're
Good
right,
afternoon.
but someone's confused. And I was referring to Randy.
You're gonna talk? No, I'm gonna talk. You're gonna talk? No, I'm
Make
gonna.
another negative comment about it.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
what are we on, which one?
Juvenile services.
Okay.
So 154 is the one we're on.
And this says step increases is the only increases in there. There's the 200 and a 300 account that we've added the educational training, correct?
Correct.
For 1,000. Where was it covered before, or wasn't covered before?
Really hadn't been utilizing it for the most part.
You hadn't been utilizing, or you didn't have
We
it?
had, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Or else we'd take it out of our user fees, or circuit court would help us
Assist
with
with it,
training.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's $1,000.
that answers a good question, so
Can circuit court continue to help you with that?
because this is, you're only doing this for your paperwork, right? Because circuit court was paying for it before.
They would do that through grants.
Right. So circuit court was paying
Just
for.
what they requested, so I don't know.
I know,
how to
so
do
circuit court was paying for it before, I'm asking, so can,
that.
Has circuit court notified you they won't do it next year? That's the question.
are you doing this for paperwork, because that's all they did here? This is only for paperwork, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I'd like to request that circuit court continues to do what they're doing, and however they want to do the paperwork, I don't care. This is only done for that purpose and purpose only. Nothing's changing. This wasn't here last year. They were always getting paid by circuit court. Justin,
Correct.
No, 154.
second page, 154.
Motion to approve 154 with the increase for step of $10,289.
We're not doing the one number, 100 account.
So on this here, you're removing the 1,000 and leaving it with the circuit?
That's
That-
what that's
your
what I'm
plan?
asking.
All right. So is that a motion, Mr.
Yes,
Yagowski?
yes,
And seconded by Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
yes.
Question?
What question?
To them, by us removing it and having to push it back to circuit court that unfortunately is not here just yet to answer, does that put you in a bind that you are aware of?
See, she didn't ask for it.
It could, because probation officers are required to do 12 hours of continuing education per year. And so, looking for the training, it depends on if there's grants, if we can find free trainings.
So if circuit court doesn't, if we can't get the money out of the traditional way that we've been getting all these years, then you could always come back if you had to do training, just come back and say it, because it seems like it's been a proven method, it's worked so far.
Well, couldn't they also go to the commissioners and they got a training budget?
Training commission.
I mean, there's lots of avenues to get it paid for.
Just for, our own education, I'm looking at 2024 expended versus adopted budget. For circuit court continuing education, they've spent $7,800 out of a $2,000 approved budget. So 5,800 came from somewhere.
And they're not opposed to doing it. This has only been taken out for, yeah, I mean, for everybody.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, moving on to fund number 2511.
Juvenile probation.
Oh,
Juvenile probation, don't you guys have another,
We have a Michigan City Circuit Court juvenile probation account, which,
it's a user fee.
it's a user fee account, and this is, somehow, you've been coming to us to expend money on it for the past couple of years, and then we have now in here to, request, and I'm not sure if it was you, the auditor's office, to put this in place, for $500 in each in two different accounts, other supplies and other services and charges. And so far this year, you spent $821 and $809. So this is just if we want us to approve it when you need it, or to set something up so that you don't have to.
We're wanting to set something up so it's there to utilize the beginning of the year.
All right.
Okay, just glad we got it caught before you to spend.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Karanka, seconded by Keel. Is there any other question?
Since they've already spent $1,600 in the first half of this year, why don't we change the amount to $3,200?
Where's,
If we're gonna set it up, why are we setting it up for $1,000 when in fact they've already spent $1,600 in the first half of this year?
Would you like it to be higher?
Would you like it to be 1,000 and 1,000?
Well, I think we
My
can,
preference is to make it 3,200. That covers what they've actually spent.
we could appropriate more as needed.
Or if it doesn't get spent, it doesn't get spent.
Exactly.
Right.
Doesn't get
Stays
lost.
in the account. It's,
So, and it's your account to control. Do we know what the balance is in this account by chance? And I know that's a spot question. Yeah, I appreciate that. So if we were to increase this, is there a better number that you would think? Because I don't know if the 821 is seasonal or if it's, for really half and half year. Because if you go to do certain things, it only comes up once a year.
Well, I know that we do pay for Quest in October, and that will be around 2,000
So then another, okay, so,
for our portion of it.
so 3,000.
and which account would that come out of? I don't know what Quest is, I'm sorry. Is it a,
User fee fund.
no, I just don't know whether it goes other supplies or other services and charges. Yeah,
Sounds like maintenance
For
contracts.
classes?
it's a maintenance contract.
What's Quest?
Quest is our computer system
Yeah,
that we
sounds like
utilize.
So it's other services and charges, okay.
And their balance currently is, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Their balance is different than their available.
So I'm gonna recommend that we do, 1,000 for other supplies and 3,000 or 2,500 for, other services and charges.
If they spend everything that they're appropriated for right now, they would have $2,581 left at the end of the year,
Just give them 1,000.
which I
Leave it
think
as
might be
is,
why they were waiting,
Okay.
because they don't
Leave
know
it
what
at
the balance
1,000
will
and
be at the
then
beginning of the year.
next year's you need, okay,
So you're just changing,
this year. We're not changing anything.
Leave it to 1,000 then.
all right. So approving it as presented, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Thank
Sorry,
you. Who made the motion?
I made the
Adam and Justin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Still trying to track.
Yep. Moving on to Circuit Court. Which is,
I got a question, Mr. President.
yeah,
Yeah.
This, hi. This 3,400 account, Christine Nichols Retirement Fund. I think we need more money in that account.
yeah.
That wouldn't be me. I know you are. Good to see you.
How you doing?
Let me know when you're ready for me.
We're ready.
Judge Alvisos is on vacation this week, unfortunately, so you get me.
You planned it.
We don't really foresee any changes in our budget. Or we would hope that there wouldn't be any changes in our budget because we're pretty right on target with what we have right now.
So the three changes that I'm seeing, mostly in 100 accounts, is all steps.
Then the other
Yes.
two, the 100 and 100
Is a swap.
offset. Yeah.
I will tell you that our cost for interpreters in the court, as well as psychological services for these mental health evaluations, are really up this year. We will try to stay within our budget. We may have to come to you again before the end of the year.
It's hard.
We didn't request it at this point for next year. We're just gonna see how it goes, but if you don't mind, we'd like the option of being able to come back.
It's hard to budget for anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did get another 12,000 from the state of Indiana for interpreter grant, and that will help us maybe to get through the end of the year, but certainly we usually have that as a little step up for the following year, and we're not gonna have that, so we'll just keep applying. Sometimes they'll open it up again for further money if they have any available.
Pleasure.
Motion to approve as presented, the 200, 300 accounts.
Motion by Rosenbaum,
Second.
seconded by Carrera. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. You gonna stick around for juvenile services? Will you?
I think he's coming on Zoom.
Did you have a question for?
I was just, was that the damage we're talking about, or?
I'm going to see it tomorrow.
Hmm?
I'm going to go see it tomorrow
Is there a break or something?
in the morning. It's right past my house.
Okay, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on one second. I got.
I ain't caught up.
Right.
We're doing juvenile services now?
Yeah, but they're not.
He's not.
Oh, Dion's on Zoom.
He should have been, yeah.
Yeah, he's right there.
You there,
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Mr. Campbell?
I feel
I tried calling you back twice yesterday.
Yeah, back in the day, that COVID.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I hope you feel better.
getting there.
Hang on a second. All right. 176.
154. 176.
176.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with 176.
All right.
You can't imagine.
Thank
I
you.
don't have this in Excel yet. so
Yep. Got it. Thank you.
I'm working with.
And then
Increase in postage.
no increase in overtime. Mr. Campbell, I've seen the increase request for the overtime, and I see that you're running pretty high already. Still short on staff?
We're doing better. We're up to about 52 now. I think the issue is that for many, many years, we've only run at 30,000. And last year, we hit about 240,000 in overtime. And the reason that we were able to cover it is through salaries of unhired salaries. But as we're pushing to be fully staffed, we're going to have to increase that number. And we thought that was a good midpoint until we get fully staffed.
What about the issue with the nurse? We had talked briefly about trying to look at the
Contracted services.
contracted services in the jail to see if, and I know they have a specific dollar, in other words, they have a contract, so it's a little bit different than what you'd be doing, but they might have somebody or offer a separate service for a contracted nurse for juvenile service.
Yes, we're absolutely open to that. We would prefer a nurse, but we're open to the contracted services. I've reached out to the sheriff's department a couple times, and they've reached out to the company, but we've yet to hear back from them. So we're very open to that.
I know their contract, I think, is based on, they're gonna provide this, so it's not an exact fit. But maybe they offer different types of services, or maybe there's another service out there that offers that you can do a contract nurse on, so.
Yes, and I know previously the previous assistant director had contracted with a company, and the first two candidates they sent us both had felonies, so we figured that it wasn't going to work for us.
Oh, boy. So what do you want to do?
I'm ready to make a motion to approve the 200, 300 accounts as presented, and the 100 accounts we can talk again on the increase. I'm not opposed to the increase later on, but
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just keep in mind we've always been over that 30,000 mark. Because we've been short-staffed, we've been able to pull those funds from unoccupied positions. But we've always been over the 30,000.
we've had other departments also be a little shy in their overtime budget, regular budget, and then they've had to come back to us in the future. We kind of know that that's going to have to happen, and so it's been something that we've been working with elsewhere
Okay.
as well. So
Understood.
just to make sure you're aware,
Yes.
What is the, What is your increase in postage for?
The increase in postage is because postage has increased.
You don't go through the commissioner's office? No? I'm getting
no.
somebody shaking their head. Do you?
No.
You don't, could you use their machine?
We have a machine. When I talked to
Never mind.
to Sharon, she basically told me the increase was because of the increase in postage. So
Okay, but you have your own machine.
yes,
Got it. Never mind.
There's a
All right.
couple of small increases again. We're talking 100 accounts again. A $39 increase for YSWs, which is almost $1 million, and a $57 increase for unit leader, which is almost $200,000. That doesn't look like a step. Miss Graves, do you know what that might be?
Not sure what you're talking.
I am looking at 10189 and I think it's 10220.
10189.
Is less than $100 difference.
It's $40.
But here's the thing.
Doesn't make any sense.
So far this year,
Clean it up.
they spent.
Must have matched their Form 144 because we do check those.
So far this year, they've spent a little more than a third of that, and they're asking for a $39 increase.
be a typo.
I think it's a typo. And
I
that's just
can
kind
look
of
up
one
an
putting
email if you want to give me 1 second. I'll look it up real fast. It may take me a minute, but as fast as I can. Form 144.
Just want to make sure it's not a typo in the wrong direction where it has other zeros on the end.
Oh, and
yeah, that may be a typo. We didn't ask for an increase in salary on that.
All right. So on the 200 and 300 accounts, we have a motion by Mr. Rosenbaum. Need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Keel.
10189. Says 9.
Any other questions or comments on the 2s and 3s?
The draft was approved for that amount.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay. Nay.
I got it. Moving on to 1170-176. What's in public safety lit?
Were there changes on that first one?
None.
Okay, I'll give that. One.
$1170 is just a step increase, right?
Yeah, plus it's 100 accounts.
It's all 100 accounts,
Yeah.
All right,
so there's nothing to be done.
so hold it over.
Yep.
Next one is 2057.
This again is probably the same thing as before, just to give them out of this separate fund.
No change.
It's the first time it's been.
So how much is it balanced in this account? If you could take a moment and look it
I'll
up.
look it up as soon as
Not
I
that
find
it's a-
this email.
Mhm. Okay.
101.
And the same thing's gonna happen on the next one. And the next one after that,
That's it.
and the next one after that.
You want the balances or you want to approve?
I was curious, but I'm just gonna move to approve it.
Again, it's the balances.
She was working on getting an email, so first for someone else.
All right. So what do you want to do with 2057?
I make a motion to approve as is.
Second.
Rosenbaum and Keel. Any questions on 2057? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next one is the Nova Fund for 4910. Presented with no changes.
Well,
It's new,
it's new,
but it's,
so I'll make a motion to approve.
So was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Second.
motion.
Same
by
theory.
Rosenbaum and
Yeah.
Keel.
Keel.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed?
Hey.
Next one is the electronic monitor home detention, 4922, the
Motion to
same
approve.
thing.
Did you make a motion?
Yes, I did.
Second.
I figured we'd just keep it going.
Motion by Rosenbaum and Keel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next one is JFC food program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Rosenbaum and Keel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Next year, you don't have all these.
Thank you. I think we're
set.
Thank you, Dion. Hope you feel better soon.
Thank you.
You need me to come over and help?
Just send the chicken soup, right?
Yes, that'd be fine.
You know I'm there for you. You need something.
I'll drop.
Thank you.
You're my neighbor. I'll drop it off for you.
Thank you. Just put it in the mailbox.
Okay.
Good to see you feel better.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Hi, Chris.
Thank you, the people who are leaving. Appreciate it.
So we're up to Superior 1.
Yep.
Let's take a 5-minute break while we're...
Yeah, well, we have the opportunity, while we can breathe.
Darlene? You shut that off before you leave, please?
We're on.
Good.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Superior 1, 149.
She's up a whopping $11. No, $101.
Good one.
About number 4.
And that was in the secretary position. There's a reduction there and an increase in court reporter.
Where are you seeing
So
that?
do you have a new admin person?
Yes.
And then the court reporter is just getting another step increase or something?
Yes.
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion by
Second.
Earl. Seconded by Mr. Rosenbaum.
What was the $30,000 reduction in the medical hospital?
So last year, when we were putting together our budget, we thought we were going to be short. And so for the 2024 budget, we had asked for an increase. But when I looked at it in preparation for the hearing, we must have been looking at it wrong. I don't know what we were looking at, but when I was preparing to come here last year, we realized that we didn't need that extra money. So,
And I just realized that was the requested budget, not the adopted budget
Right,
for last year.
right.
So.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Oh, right. Yep. All right. Anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Could have called it in, couldn't you?
That's all right.
Rule of thumb, if you don't
Randy.
have any changes, you can.
Community corrections.
Randy, has anyone been in contact with the clerk yet? Or any of the such one? It looks like you're ahead of schedule.
No, if you could, but we got Eric, we got EMS that can jump in anytime.
Okay.
We're gonna go ahead with community corrections since you guys are.
Ahead, are we?
179
We're
is the first thing.
You getting hold of her?
Yeah, I'll text her.
I figure I'll hit her on
What do you
Teams.
say? One.
They're gonna train.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Get them in.
Thank you. You got cream in them? You got cream in it? Don't bring it up here if it doesn't have cream in it.
No.
You go.
I'm good. You can have it.
Freshly brewed. Would you like it?
Yes, I think the stuff I had to write on.
Stunt your growth.
Yeah.
Randy, how was yours, Randy?
It was actually very good, Mark. Thank you. Good afternoon. Again, 179
And plus.
plus others.
So we'll start with 179. Maintenance contracts. So I see that you're requesting 9,000. You requested 9,000. Or excuse me, requesting 18,000. Requested 9,000 last year, and we haven't spent any money this year.
We have 2 contracts that we haven't paid yet because we had our Tech 84, which is our scanner, And they've
That
been
we talked about last night.
They've been increasing the money quite a bit, and so Miss Holly went back and asked them to save us a little bit of money instead of guessing how much they're going to charge us each year. We got a 4-year contract that shows how much they're going to charge us for the next 4 years, and so it ends at a $12,675. And then we have our it's a timekeeping system where it shows our employees when they go to check. It's like a wand, and they go check, and that contract is for $4,995.
And that's an existing system right now?
Yes.
Okay, so if we talk about the 4-year contract, is that annual installments? Or is that going to be all up front and covers for 4 years?
It'll be annual installments.
So if it's $12,000, then we take it down to $3,000 annually, or is it $12,000?
No, it's $12,675 a year.
$12,000 a year.
It's $12,000 a year.
Jesus.
This is on the body scanner?
Yes. Would you like to see it?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Because I think we saw,
Would you like to go through
what,
it?
10.9 for the Tech 84?
Right. The first year it was like $8,000. Then it went up to $9,000, and then this year they charged us $10,000. So I asked Miss Holly if she would go and ask them, how they're getting these figures. And so then when they kicked us back, they gave us a 4-year plan. So now we know exactly how much we're going to pay for the next 4 years instead of guessing what they're going to give us each year.
Okay, I understand.
Thoughts?
I don't understand the first one where the comment would like to have pay increase to match juvenile service. Oh, got it. We're discussing those later. The 100 accounts. Got it. There's a disparity between the two department heads.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I'm well aware of those things. So
what would you like to do?
Well, we're not discussing those now. But I don't have a problem.
What do you want to do with the 2 and 300?
The 2 and 300? Oh, I motion to approve. I was waiting for her.
Second.
Motion by Rosebaum and Keel. Any other questions on 179? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Just so everybody understands, we're only doing the 2 and 300 accounts. We're gonna come back and get the 100 accounts. So. Next one is 1170.
Except for steps, right?
Steps we don't mess with steps. These are all 100 accounts. So we're gonna hold that over.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to 1122. You're reducing your office supplies? Down at the bottom, third from the bottom?
We reduced that from 6,000 to 6,000.
Yes.
Reducing motor
And then the
vehicle
next
supplies.
motor vehicle supplies, but you're adding to drug testing.
Yes, our drug tests, we have done close to 10,000 drug tests in a year. And so the price have increased, and so we had to allocate money for that increase. And so we had to take it from other areas.
So you're pretty much offsetting that with the savings. I mean, you're not, the reductions, do they equal the $14,000? Or they're pretty close?
Pretty close.
They're close, but they have an increase in the lease agreement.
Right.
And that's our GPS units, and as you know, I've had to come to you each year to ask for an increase.
Well, we got that all taken care of now, right? It's in a grant?
No.
No.
It's in project income.
Are we doing better?
We are doing better.
Have we had conversations with the judges? Are the judges doing better at collecting?
No.
All right, never mind. You don't have to.
Smile she's got on this one.
I know. I'm trying not to make her incriminate herself. That's all.
Did.
It's a smile. It's nothing else. It's just a smile.
All right.
Motion to approve the 200 range accounts. The overall is a $5,000 reduction. What's this?
Motion by Rosenbaum. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Adam.
Actually, a bigger reduction.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Actually, $200,000 increase.
Next one is 1170, public safety lit.
There's only one 3,000 account. And that's for a lease agreement?
$200,000? Is that's the monitoring thing, isn't it?
Yes.
So we have it in two, we have it.
So that's a budgeted item, or? Thought a minute ago we were doing better.
That was a safety net.
I think we put there as a safety net. I remember last year we had to come back and ask for some money, and then you told me to wait, and you said to talk about it in budgets. So I think we put it in there just as kind of like a safety net in case we needed it. It would be there. If we don't use it, it would go right back to the lit account.
Right, because you haven't spent anything out of there. Is that in the lit budget?
I mean, it's what they've requested, but only if you approve it. They haven't spent anything from it this year.
So why would we?
Well, it was requested for 2024. That's why I'm asking. And then they're requesting for 2025. So is it in the lit budget for this year?
It looks like it is.
That's, I would agree, yeah. All right, so that might be something we can look at, since they're gonna have the money to pay for it themselves. What do you wanna do?
Holly, is this the one, is it 1175.90 that needs to increase by that one employee?
Yes.
Do you know what that amount is?
You gave it to me.
10202.
It would increase by $5,993.
5993.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 1,000 account. They said we weren't discussing that. So.
Which account are you referring to?
What's that?
A 100 account.
I know, but I would like to mark it up if I could.
10202.
And there's an increase that should be of,
$5,993.
Might be able to cut
Would bring it to $48,654.
But we need to make sure it's in.
And then I'll check the payroll deductions too.
Okay.
Correct, for her, for them, but I mean in our budget.
so do we wanna,
You know what I mean, in our.
do we wanna reduce this? I mean, it's safety lit, but it'll free up safety lit.
Yeah, exactly. And the safety lit's already overexpended right now.
Is it?
That's what the requests show.
So, I mean,
So
Motion to approve with the exception of lease agreements, skips runs at 0.
it's the only thing,
Yep.
the lease agreement, to move it to 0. And then if you need, we'll have to go back the other way.
That's at 200,000 then, right?
Yep.
Yep, okay.
is that a second?
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Okay.
Next one is 9106. What'd you do here? It looks like you moved a lot of money around.
This is our grant account. And we only had enough for salaries, so we had to take things out of like building supplies, postage, different things like that. And so we didn't ask for any money or any budget to be there because we only had enough for salaries. So we put all the grant money towards salaries.
Do you anticipate the grants coming back?
They have come back and we did get an increase of $50,000, but that still would only go towards salaries.
Okay.
So, no action yet on 9106-584.
So you're basically
No action.
zeroing out all the 200 and 300 accounts.
Yes. But I would like permission to speak about one of the 1,000 accounts. It's kind of necessary.
100 accounts?
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Which one you want?
The coordinator of services. We have been without a counselor for close to 3 years because we cannot find a qualified candidate. This is a grant paid salary. We don't want to lose that money from the grant because we haven't had it for 3 years. And the Department of Corrections has been very gracious and lenient with us because of our transformation and some of the things that went on at the facility. We did ask for it to be reclassified as a case manager coordinator. And it's important, I think, that we get that position this year instead of waiting until budgeting it for next year. so that we can get that position filled, so that we're not at risk of losing that money from DOC for 26.
Is this something you went to the job evaluation
Yes.
committee for?
Okay. Oh,
And they approved it?
yeah, then we did. Yep. And that was postponed last month.
Well, it was held over to this.
Hold over to.
So this is a new position then, case manager, coordinator? Right, you don't have one.
Yes and no. It's just reclassified.
It's taking someone who's called a coordinator, a counselor, and changing them to a case manager because it's a little bit better pay, and then they'll be able to get somebody.
Okay.
Am I correct in the
Yes,
way I
it
said
takes
that?
off. Right now, the counselor has to have certification for substance abuse evaluations, and we cannot find anyone in the state of Indiana who is willing to take that job at the salary that we can offer, because we're competing with other mental health facilities, and we just can't compete financially. So this way, we're outsourcing our substance abuse and mental health, but we would put a supervisor in that role instead at a little, just a little bit more pay.
Outsource.
And the grant would cover it. It would be paid for.
So we'll hold that over for 100 accounts. But at least we know what it is, so.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for the 100 accounts.
200 and 300 accounts. They're zeroing them out. Is there a motion or a second?
Motion to approve.
Is that Mr. Molnauer?
Yep.
To make it 0?
Yep.
I'll second. And is that on, we doing that on all of them?
On both, yeah. 200 and 300 accounts.
Yep, no, we did it before. Adam did it before with me, so we're good here.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Next one is the state grant LIT public safety.
There's nothing
These are
there.
all 100 accounts, so we're gonna hold that over. Anything else?
Just kind of caught up, is this the right time to, Randy mentioned about the damage last night, but what did they do with the community correction people had?
The damage, so the question is, last night we approved fixing that ceiling in that bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Is, or do you know, if the offender, it's a two-part question, was held responsible, or did the courts ask for restitution for the damage that was done? I'm assuming you know what did it.
Mm-hmm.
And two, does that disqualify them from being in the program?
It does not disqualify them from being in the program, because we have no control over whether or not the judges will sentence them back. We can ask them for them not to come, but it's up to the judges whether or not they come. And yes, we did file charges and we did ask for restitution, but again, that's up to the judges whether or not they want to make that person pay for it.
Is that individual still there?
No,
And you don't know if you got restitution or not?
no, I don't recall. We did not.
He's not there, so he's been released or in jail?
I'm not sure where he is at this time, but we did not get. He came back once after the incident, but he's no longer here
There, it's okay.
That's okay.
Anything else, Mark? So in the, I guess in the future, the thing that we want to make sure, and it sounds like you did it the right way, is, if somebody does the damage, and we got the same thing at the juvenile center,
To jail.
where toilets were ripped off the wall or damaged or something, but,
To the cells.
right. We need to make sure that the individual's held accountable,
That'll be today.
so, right.
Well, we can hold them accountable financially. We can forward all of that to the courts. But as far as us taking them out of the program, the only thing we can do is recommend to the courts that they're taken out and that it becomes out of our hands at that time.
Okay,
And you did that in this case, correct?
Absolutely.
right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. You guys have a nice day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Clerks.
Is anyone calling any of these subsequent ones, or are we reaching?
We're gonna do EMS after this one. And then if somebody could call, Mike Poland.
Thank you.
You do?
So we'll end a little.
Shooting for 3:30.
Justin needs to leave at 3:32, so we're pushing.
I get a moment.
So we have to hold the auditor over to tomorrow. We'll move the auditor.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Question, hang on one second, let me find my page. 101.
Yep. Whenever you're ready, I have some questions. Are you okay if I start?
Sure.
Okay, I don't know if you were watching earlier today, I have a little bugaboo this year about part-time help, about trying to reduce them. And, last year, in the past couple of years, you've had, we've tried to keep that area healthy for you because of all of the scanning and everything that's been done. But at this point, I know it's not completely done, but it's got to be seriously reduced. And I don't know if you even need any regular scanners at this point, and you're just going back to having your interns and part-time help, the regular part-time help.
So as far, is this on? I can't tell.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as the scanners go, we went from a team of 8 down to 1. And that is not paid out of the general fund. That is paid out of the clerk's perpetuation fund. She probably works maybe 6 months out of the year in total.
Okay, so that's
So it is greatly reduced.
Okay, so
And as far as the rest of the clerk's office, I believe when we took office, I think we had 4 part-time people, and now we are reduced to about one and a quarter, I would say.
so 1 1/4 wouldn't require 50,000.
No.
So is 18,000 good enough, or 25?
I think right now we have roughly, what did you tell me, 38,000 left in our part-time budget for this year. So
Yeah, we got 37. Yes.
yeah,
So if we made that 25,000 for next year, that'd be okay.
I could do 25.
Yeah,
we could do that.
we're just trying to.
What did we start with?
50.
It's
50?
yeah. That way,
Could do
even
that.
if. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Even though most of the scanning is done, we now have the other project of fixing all of the microfilm documents. So a couple of years ago, we spent some money out of the clerk's perpetuation fund to buy the new microvote machine. Not microvote, the new microfilm machine. And now that the scanning is over with, now what we're starting is they can take one of the discs, one of the films, put that on there. They can actually fix the documents, repair the documents, save the documents within. So it's very, very cool. It's a neat system, and that's really why we needed that machine. Almost as cool as Mark. Oh my! And he paid me to say that.
Well, I need the air conditioning. It gets too hot in here. But that would be perpetuation.
It is perpetuation.
So we're there.
Yep.
Any increases that we have right now in payroll, we're assuming are steps. Right now, there's just a few small ones. And then the clerks, for some reason, you have quite a few people. Clerks, we've got over $10,000 of increase, so I'm assuming there's a lot of people earning steps.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And keep in mind, we're also saving roughly $50,000 a year because my chief deputy happens to be amazing with our finances, and she is the main bookkeeper. So there's a healthy savings there.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We've reduced
At this point,
We reduced one position, and for a while there I was going to ask you about one of the clerks in Michigan City or positions in Michigan City, because you hadn't filled it for a while. You couldn't find the right candidate, whatever it was, and the point comes, when you get to a point beyond 3 months. Do you need somebody becomes the next question.
So we're struggling right now because we have one person out on FMLA, and we have another who is going out on FMLA within the same office. So we're freaking out just a little bit, because when you're down one person, there's a big strain on the rest of the staff.
Got it.
So to be down two, I absolutely can't imagine. I would have to get them somebody.
Mr. Yagowski.
I'm sorry. I appreciate all that. Some of the other departments, we've been working on it for a while, and maybe you have, about going with other departments. Have you been trying to cross-train at all to help at all?
Not at this time.
Because it's worked really well in our
we're very-
programs with our, so when we've asked from other departments to do it, it worked help.
Yeah, and I can understand that. I know that our part-time person in Michigan City, she does not just do scanning. She, and so for the clerk's office, it's pretty specific as to what they do, and they really have to know what they're doing. She works the counter. She makes entries into cases. So that's kind of, we kind of want to keep an eye on those people and make sure that they know what they're doing.
Schultz with his real estate, I'm sure he's going to tell you that he's very specific.
Exactly.
But he has done some cross training, so
Yeah.
that's what I mentioned.
Now we have cross-trained. I have no problem cross-training within the clerk's office, so that we wouldn't ever need, too many part-time people, something like that. Even if we were to get slammed or to take on a bigger project or something.
Have people that can go from different courts or different
Right.
offices to
Right.
fill in. Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
So I'm going to make a motion to approve the 200, 300 accounts. And we made the change, but we'll approve the 100 accounts another day. If we, on the $25,000 savings was much appreciated. So that's what I'm doing. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rosenbaum, second by Karanka. Any other questions on 101? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next one is election board.
Okay.
131.
Now, I have a few questions, so please bear with me.
I'm here to play Let's Make a Deal.
And so, well, I don't know how much of a deal you're going to get a chance to make, but anyway, the first thing I'd like to do, and if it's possible, and this may be with the auditor's help, is we have board members, but we also have all of the election staffing all on one line. And I was wondering if we could get the election staffing on a second line. Because
The same thing, yeah, just so we can break it out better.
This is something that we've been discussing. However, big election this year, and there's no election next year.
I'm just talking about it for long term.
Right.
Because what's going to happen is, we have to have a separate note that board members are paid $900. So if I know that line is $2,700, and I know that the next line would have been whatever the number is.
Yeah.
Okay. And because I'm actually going to recommend that we reduce next year significantly, because you don't need $200,000 for some people, and we will obviously, the new auditor and you will, or whomever, I'm going to assume, I should not assume anything, but
Never.
the people that will be in place in office will make sure that this gets reinstated.
Correct.
And so that's going to be my recommendation on this one. And unless anybody asks for raises on the board, then $2,700 should do there. And then the rest of the supplies.
No.
I mean, as we go down the list, I'm going to ask you to just help walk through this. What do you need as
Each
a bare
election
minimum?
board member is paid $3,000 for the year.
Oh, so got it. So I'm sorry, then I have a bad note unless I dropped off the quarterly or something. So
It should all say 9,000.
So it should be 9,000.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Board members are paid $9,000 total because there's three.
Right,
Yeah.
for the three of us for the year. And I pay those out after each election.
Okay.
So that we don't have somebody who,
My typo.
quits the 2 weeks before an election and then gets their full
He had a
pay.
good deal.
Yeah.
The other thing.
Yeah,
that
no,
our
no,
office-
we're good. It was my mistake on
Yeah.
my typo.
The other thing
So-
our office deals with is not all election staffing would be paid out of a 100 account. So she wouldn't know that amount ahead of time to divide that up.
But if we know that 9,000 is for.
I'm talking about the rest of, you mentioned the other election staffing. I'm not talking about the board members.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now if we go through, and I'm serious because this really does help us tremendously in an off year to get this reduced. And we're not trying to crimp what you need.
I get it
what you
back
need
the
to do,
following year,
so-
right?
What's that?
I get it back for 2026.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. This is
Whole new council, you
Wait,
never know.
well.
Easy.
I'm pretty sure. The thing is, the general fund is in desperate need of
Not a whole new.
a good boost. And we were forced today to have a big increase in another department. And so, this is helpful. So if we go through this and you have it in front of you, the sheets, and I don't know who can help me walk this down, if you really need $1,000, or should we make it 500? Election supplies are funny things because sometimes you need to do stuff in advance. And so, what do you really need to do and what can we cut it down to is really
I don't think that to leave that 1,000 for the election supplies is really gonna hurt much. That way, if we do need something, we don't have to mess around. We
I
can
don't
get
want to
it.
play with pennies, so to speak,
Right.
with you.
So, but anything not used will revert back to the general fund for 2026.
And what about the 28,000? Can that be reduced?
The 28,000, I believe, is for microvote, and I'm hearing. So eventually, in the near future, we're gonna have to replace those voting machines, and I know that they were. I believe back in the day, it was a grant that got those machines for LaPorte County years ago.
It was by a grant. That's
Yes. So this will be the first time that LaPorte County is going to have to pay for those machines. They're not cheap. I don't know that Microvote can upgrade them anymore at this point. So if they come into, you guys can take that, and if I need it, I'll come to you.
Is there a way to look and see if there's grants to upgrade those machines?
Well, I am working on a grant from the Secretary of State's office. Actually, today, that's what I've been working on. But it is not, the voting machines are not,
Anything else?
no,
Software, some software improvements or anything like that?
no, nothing to do with the voting machines.
Doesn't matter. Anything helps.
So they're kind of at the end of their life for upgrades and things?
Yeah, they're getting there. So
Windows
heads
stuff.
up.
Won't need as many of them.
Well, we have gone to vote centers. Right now we have 38 vote centers and we have 4 early voting locations. We don't need as many machines as what we have. Right now we have 320. And I think we could reduce that. And as the years go on, maybe, I don't know. That I'm not going to be the clerk forever. So I'm not making plans for anyone else. I don't know what they're going to do, but
And just please do me a favor, let's walk through these one by one and that
Sure.
will be done. So Freight and Express, I don't know if you're gonna have anything, so do you wanna put $100 there or just make it 0? I mean,
for next year, I don't think we need that. Do you?
I have no objection to leaving 100 here, 100 there, so.
You spent $68 so far.
Right. You never know what's going to happen.
But I wouldn't zero it out.
Yeah.
So leave 100. Is that what you want to do?
What do you use it for?
Depends on what comes up, and we.
Freighting and expressing?
That's right.
I mean, realistically, it almost sounds like something that's been sent out for repair, or any large items. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Something you got to send off and get back.
Yeah.
Okay,
28,000. I gave that back.
let me just,
What was that, Heather?
I'm sorry.
What was that? About the 28 grand?
The 28,000 we're giving back. If we need that, I'll come to you.
it'll be a big number anyway, so you know.
Yeah.
And postage, reduce it to a third, what do we do? I don't know how much,
What kind of communication do you have for postage?
For 2025, I would say I would be happy to leave $500 in there.
okay. And, travel,
Travel is our big one. Because even though there is no election next year, there will be an election administrators conference, and there are seven people from LaPorte County that go.
Yeah. Well, so it's one conference
It's one conference.
a week for 3 days.
It's a 3, because we stay 2 nights, so it's a 3-day conference.
$7,000 cover you. Mileage and
I think it would be, I think
3
it would be
days,
about
7,000 won't cover each one of you.
I don't think so.
Well, if I,
You're talking about registration fees for 7 people. Meals, we pay the
So then
mileage.
it should have a second account for training, education, training.
Where's your conference at?
Indy.
what if we make it $7,000? 7,000 people, $1,000 per
$1,000 a person.
Train,
I
Some of the
don't think that's gonna cover it.
It's not
Might be a
150.
little
Take it 10,000 then.
No.
Maybe a
I
little.
think we could do 10.
Let's go 10.
The rest of the money that we had requested, because you're gonna ask me why we requested this large amount of money, and it was the conference. It's the when this budget was originally set, it was before I took office. I've left it alone. However, that was before we had 4 early voting locations, and it was before we had a mobile voting unit. So we have nothing in our budget for repairs for the mobile unit, for fuel for the mobile unit, for staffing, things like that. So
repairs should go out to the county barns or someplace like that.
but I still get a bill. I still pay for fuel. So who pays for it if I need 4 new tires?
Who does it belong to? Does it belong
The county election board.
The election board.
Okay.
So then we just need to start adding more accounts in here. And just give me a second. The problem is that there's another account that should be used for, my understanding, for the conferences called Employee Education and Training. And do you know how much it is per person for the conference, or what it has?
I think the registration fee, I believe, is $250.
It's higher than that.
You think it's higher?
I think it's like 500.
She thinks it's 500, and she normally fills it out.
That's
so-
3,500 then, or you've took 500 per person.
per person.
Okay.
I mean, that's explaining why, you're looking at 20,000. And then the other thing, we don't have the fuel and gas. Do we get that here at the garage?
We get it over at County Highway, and then they send us an invoice.
So we need a fuel.
How much is that?
Depends on how much the mobile unit's out there. I think this time,
Maybe around 400 in the spring.
yeah.
Did you fix the mobile van that you and I talked about?
Yes and no.
Did you found a problem at least?
No.
We didn't fix that.
No, we have to leave it running while it's at any location. So they can't turn it off.
So we're on down.
Restart?
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't.
They had to get a charge and had to get jumped numerous times.
Yeah.
So
There's a short somewhere.
there's a short somewhere. So
Somewhere,
now
no.
we have some downtime for that. Is it time to get it in and see if they can plan it? again?
Everybody's looked at it. They don't know what to do.
The highway department, the sheriff's office
Yep.
garage looked at it?
Yep.
Charge up everything. And they,
Yeah.
they just go, yeah.
Pretty much. They don't understand why. And we've tried, we make sure everything is turned off inside at the end of the night.
Put a kill switch, has it got a kill switch on it?
Yeah.
Where it disconnects the battery totally?
Yep. That doesn't work either. So, how many times did it have to be jumped this spring?
some. Gotta
4 or
be.
5.
Sorry.
So it's a little frustrating.
If you have somebody that you have locally, it's time to jump. It's time to move on here and get something because you can't keep doing what you did last time. You can't have people jumping you all the time. Just
No. But I don't have a budget
Move
for
on and get a
it.
new one.
no, I meant
Oh,
Get those little chargers you put in your glove compartment now.
Okay, let me get back on track on some of the things here,
Okay.
on two items, and then I'll have to work some things out with the auditor's office as I go through this. We have printing costs of almost $68,000. I don't know what you may need to do prior to, because there's some things, you have printing costs because you have people with, that you need to regularly communicate with, and you need to send out mailings. So I don't, we can't take away all of that, but I don't know how much is really needed out of that.
For next year?
Yeah, for next year. If we left 500 there, would that cover you for things?
No, because There's an election this year, so I don't want to speak too much about next year because I'm a little superstitious. But you're going to be preparing for the 2026 election. So you're going to need to order. You're going to need to order absentee envelopes. You're going to need.
If we do, let's say we do 15,000.
That would give them a good start.
I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut anybody's knees off.
No.
And that's but.
It's
every
an off
reduction,
year and you're just doing
publishing
prep
the
work.
same thing in half or leave it. I don't know the cost as well as you do. That's why I'm asking the questions.
Publishing, I would leave 500 because with no election, you're not publishing.
So I'm going to tell everybody what I've got going here right now. I'm going to walk through it all. I'm down to 37,000 overall, but this is how I got there. Okay. So the board members at 9,000, which we all talked about and we heard. 20001 office supplies 1,000. I've added a 20025 gas, fuel, and oil for 400. Because that's the number I thought I heard. Okay. The Freight and Express, 3001, we moved that to 100. We agreed on the postage, also the 30002 postage to 500. 300003 travel, I moved that to 7,000, $1,000 a person, but I also put the registration on another line. So if we need to change, we'll come back. We kept we moved the printing 30005 to 15,000. If I'm going too fast, let me know. I've added an account 30027 employee education and training. And I put 3,500 because that was 500 times 7. Okay, so between 7,000 on travel and 3,500 here, we have 10,500 instead of the 20.
Okay.
Okay, and then publishing, as we just spoke, the 30042 account, we moved that to 500.
I'm sorry, you said you made a registration account?
Yeah, it's called employee education and training.
What did you say that account was, Mike?
30027 employee education and training, similar to all of the other places and all the other departments. That's why I was flipping the book, going back and forth, and that's the one for 3,500. We're good. And if you total it up, I have 37,000.
What was the reason for lowering the publishing to 500?
They don't publish much that year, and it was her suggestion.
It's an off year.
Off year, yeah. Thank you.
You just gotta make sure you put it all back.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of stuff to put back.
You want to take a picture of that last one?
I'll come
Sorry.
back.
So that's significant.
Come back to him if I need it.
That's really huge and significant. And as you said, if the micro vote comes in, we're going from 353 down to 36. So.
I had 37,100. Is that right?
No, I don't have that. I have 37,000. I have 9,000, 1,000, 400, 100, 500, 7,000, 15,000, 3,500, and 500. I'm gonna double check my math.
Where do you have 9,000, just at the top?
Just at the top of board members.
So you took off the 200 and some?
Yeah, because not gonna be there for next year. We'll put it back in the following year.
So 400 for gas, fuel, oil. 400 for freight express. That's where it is.
He started to, but then he put it down here.
That's one
thing. Or, no.
Sure.
So this
Okay.
guy here for the hotel.
We're all good now?
We're all good.
Okay.
We're gonna have to
And-
still that
and I
goes
can-
with travel. And this is the registration.
So I'm gonna make a motion to approve with these corrections or adjustments.
Would you mind repeat it one more time when you're done?
The entire thing, sure, no
If you don't
problem.
mind, please.
No. First line, 10136, board members to 9,000.
Got it?
The office supplies, 20001, office supplies, 1,000,
Got
leaving it. 20022, election supplies are 0.
Got it?
I added 20025, gas, fuel, and oil, 400.
Got it?
30001, freight and express is 100.
Got it.
30002 postage, 500. 30003 travel is 7,000.
Got it.
3005 printing, 15,000.
Got it.
30027 is a new account, employee education and training, 3,500. And then 30042 publishing, we reduced it to 500.
Thank you. I was just missing one. Thank
Now I'm
you.
glad we got it.
The one other thing that I don't want to forget to bring up is you got it. The county election board is requesting finding the funds available for an attorney of their choosing. Number one, they are not under the county commissioners. If you guys were watching this year, that could have been really, really messy when it was in fact a sitting commissioner who had appealed a decision by the board, and then it's the commissioner's attorney appointing an attorney for us. And the guys were very no. So this is, again, next year is an off year. I don't expect to have to use it, but we need to have it available at this point.
I think it may have been done with another department. We would need to do an ordinance and to do that.
Possible.
So we'll have to check with Guy DiMartino on that. So I'm gonna put a note in, if you could,
What did we do for them?
And I would like to do the same thing for the clerk's office, because again, the clerk is not under the commissioners.
Yeah, but in the past, with the clerk, we've used the council then. I mean, there's other offers that are out there, so I don't see the problem with that one.
But it needs to be, especially when you're talking about a clerk's office, an auditor's office, whatever. I mean, you guys select your own attorney, and so it does need to be up to that elected
We have
official.
one case. We have a whole lot of cases all year long, so that's why if we only had one case, I'd use any attorney.
Right, the clerk's
that you
office
could
has
select my
cases
attorney.
all year long. I'm constantly being threatened. That's constant.
Yeah.
The county election board, this time it was one appeal, but
But you guys fall, you say you don't fall under the commissioners, but the commissioners oversee the county.
I know.
That part of it. So that's
it's-
why he's saying the
right.
county attorney, unless it's something outside of what the county attorney can do, then it would be an exception, and we would
Then we put
get
exception, and then we can hire
do
an
something.
exceptional case. That's
Right.
fine.
I believe that there's a code. I'll find the code and I'll email it to you and we'll work it out later.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, I'm glad you brought it up. We've got a note, and if you email it, then there can be a certain follow-up.
Okay.
I do have a few more questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And I just want to get this clear, because I'm not trying to cause trouble by asking these questions. Please forgive me. And just that when you, and because I think I've had this discussion with you way back in the past, and it's about when you hire the people who are working for the elections, okay, the people.
So I don't hire them. They are appointed by the two party chairs.
Okay, so officially, it is the voter registration that pulls the list together, correct? Of the people that are gonna work.
Traditionally, yeah.
Traditionally, and then, but the party chairs then sign off on them, right?
Sometimes you'll get a call from one of the party chairs. It just depends on.
Okay, and sometimes it's last minute
Yeah.
switches, because we've been involved with that personally. And that, what's the process to get them, now, there's two sets of people. You have people who are driving around and the early voter registration. So you have those people, they're paid a stipend, or are they paid hourly for the ones that are early voting?
So people for early voting, and it doesn't matter if they're on the mobile unit or sitting at one of the early voting locations, they all make an hourly rate. And sometimes there's questions about, do we take taxes out, or do they have to be a county employee? Or are they working more as a fill-in? So the way that it works is, if they're going to make more than the $600 throughout the calendar year, then we have to send them over to HR. We got to get them through the process, because at that point they have to be technically a county employee, because the auditor's office has to take the taxes out.
They have to put them in the payroll system.
Correct.
What's that?
$600 a quarter.
No, it's 600.
Per year.
Per year. Yeah, that's the rule on.
I guess. Sorry. The question, with you saying that, the only thing that pops into my mind is, you got somebody, okay, they're gonna go over $600, then we send them to HR to get drug tested and do a I'm just checking, to do the things that we do to normal part-time employees. So that's
Not
kind
my
of,
understanding.
but if you got somebody driving and they're not going through HR, the insurance doesn't know they're driving a vehicle, and then once they get over 600 hours, then we send them over there.
So whether or not they were drug tested is, I
It's
wouldn't.
an HR thing.
That's an
It's not
HR thing.
Yeah.
But whoever's driving the mobile unit, I get their ID, I get their information that gets sent over to the insurance company. So we have record of it.
Through HR?
That they're driving? I don't believe so.
You check on their personal insurance. If I go and borrow your car today and I wreck your car, my insurance is responsible. No, you're not getting a new car this deal. My insurance is responsible because I drove your car, whether you let me drive it or however it worked out. So if somebody's driving it, that's going to be a different conversation.
Versus somebody going and standing at a pole that's not getting. If somebody's driving a county vehicle,
correct,
and the county's assuming responsibility for that individual, then those people should be going through the same process as any other part-time person that's going, not once they hit 600 hours.
No.
And then we're gonna, maybe I'm misunderstanding.
We have one main person that drives the mobile unit.
Mm-hmm.
And John Jones had me just copy your driver's license, send it over to him, and it was good to go. And I think we sent over 2 people because just in case.
But part-time people mowing grass at the fairgrounds get drug tested.
I'm a clerk.
I'm just saying, so how is, I mean, the rules need to be the same, not the 600.
No, I agree.
$600 thing threw me, that it seems like if they're part-time, they're part-time. They go through the same process as all part-times.
Sometimes they're going to fill in for 1 day. Sometimes they might fill in for 3 days. Sometimes they're only going to work on election day out at the polls. And sometimes what they think is only going to be a couple of days, well, then we see, they're really good and they want to stay and it's turning into more. So at that point, they have to go over to HR.
And this me personally, as long as they're not driving a company vehicle, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not sure it's the 100% HR way to do things. That's not my thing.
I'm assuming if it's below the 600 per year, they're considered a vendor, which is a 1099, which is why they're not treated like a part-time employee.
Correct.
What's that?
Well, like Rhonda said, if they make under the $600 a year, they're considered a vendor. Right.
Yeah, but if someone's driving, they should be considered an employee.
Well, and she is.
But we don't have vendors driving our vehicles.
Right.
That's the only thing. And I was glad to hear that.
Need to look into
I was glad to hear
Something
that.
needs to be clarified. Right.
Yeah.
You already say you have them insured?
Yeah.
Drivers? Yeah, she said that.
Okay.
Through HR. That's the only thing. If they're driving,
Through our insurance company. So, like I said, the first time that we sent the mobile unit out, I was like, okay, well, what about driving? And contacted John Jones.
if we're drug testing people mowing grass, we should drug test people driving vehicle. I'm
not disagreeing. I just don't know.
And John Jones doesn't do that.
I don't know where my lane ends and HR's lane begins, and I'm not stepping out of mine. So if I need to,
We just need to get it clarified because
if I need to let them know who's driving, that's fine.
Thing, if you hire, and I say you, if you election board hires people, send those names on to HR and just go, these people are now on the whatever they're doing. If
Oh,
they
it
get
never
$600,
works like that. We don't get them all at once. No.
I'm saying,
I don't even know
I'm saying
ahead of
as they
time.
come in, shoot them over there, you have no problems.
But then they have to be scheduled. Like it gets nuts.
Because you have people to show up, they'll help you. It could be
my biggest thing is once I know they're gonna hit that 600 mark, I gotta get that body over to HR because they need to do what they need to do so that I can get them paid.
I understand as far as reporting for tax purposes, the $600. I don't understand the $600 for them being a part-time employee or not, the $600 rule. And then once they get over that, then I'm just saying,
Yeah.
keep, I'm just saying it's a friendly thing, keep you out of trouble,
Yeah.
especially somebody driving. That's all, that friendly.
No, and like I said, that person that's driving, she is considered a county employee. So,
So they would automatically go there whether they get $600 or not.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that
She's saying
statement.
no, because that's not.
If somebody makes under 600, they don't go
Then
to
they
HR.
wouldn't.
No, but a
And
driver,
Drive
no
in a
matter what.
county vehicle.
We're referring to them as a part-time employee, but the county may not feel that way. We're referring to them that way because they do have to have a payroll record and have taxes taken out of them.
Part-time employees go to HR, don't they?
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So his
And they
statement.
do.
His statement was that any driver, part-time or not, no matter how much money they make, should go.
So we don't have somebody that's gonna make, how do I?
Otherwise, they're 1099.
We know that when this lady comes to get the mobile unit that first day, we know she's in it.
Okay.
So she's past that 600. She's already on the rolls. We already have her
Nobody drives-
information.
You don't have fill-in drivers, anything that aren't going through there.
Not to my knowledge.
Then we're good. All right,
Okay.
just want to make sure.
I'm sorry, that got really confusing.
Well,
Not trying to be.
the $600 thing is what?
It bothers.
Part-time employees, if they're driving.
It was news. It was news to council members about 600. We didn't have that. It was.
It was news to me in 2022.
Not dollars.
So
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
we're running away. Thank you.
Real quick question. Did you Did you go to the county Barnes also with your vehicle? Who's all looked at your vehicle?
Yes.
You second or
Oh, you-
just-
The county highway.
Did you second it?
It
Highway
was there
sheriff.
and the sheriff's garage.
So none of those two could do it.
They don't know what's
I don't
wrong with
wanna
that
take
thing.
credit. I don't
I'll
think
take
so.
credit for it.
They were able to teach me how to. I did learn that in order to put the lift gate down, you have to have the emergency brake on.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
So-
We have to find somebody that's electrical work.
A lot of times that lift gate and stuff causes
And
electrical.
that might be the issue.
Right, just for on that last one, for the record, Mr. Auditor, it was, Mr. Rosenbaum and Mr. Karanka seconded, so. Seconded.
I made the motion, he seconded.
Seconded.
Seconded,
Am I supposed to care?
seconded.
Okay.
You sure?
Thanks for working through that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Run away.
Yeah, I would.
Planning Commission, Mike Poland, come on down. 131.
15 minutes. Thank you, sir.
I'm hoping we covered what you
Got a lot
want
to
to cover.
go.
32.
Wait a minute.
Oh, Mike, what's your department number?
It says
32.
yes.
32.
132. No, that's not right. 134.
That's what it shows here, but
Yes, planning and zoning is 134.
34.
134, yeah. Voter registration is 132. I think the numbers got mixed up.
Okay.
Oh, you got the fun one of two.
Planning and zoning.
These are all 100 in planning and zoning,
Yeah.
so there's nothing to
Hold
do.
this over.
Okay,
134, we're gonna hold over.
and we're gonna go to 2067. Contract
You wanna
registration.
take this or you
I'm
want me to?
sorry.
Go ahead. Finish. I'll go down there and talk to Mark and Earl for a while.
158.
not ready. That's my copy. Yeah.
Well,
Maybe it's
I think that's because he had too much.
Would you jump for 2?
I'm done. I'm done.
Copper report.
Can I have his hand raised?
Oh,
That's okay. We
I was focused on the people. in the room.
We wore that out anyway.
On, are you looking at the same thing we are?
I hope so.
A lot of times, they have the same book we do.
oh,
I just, years in the, it hasn't always been that way.
We'll find out.
So we got a corrected one in the packet today for this.
Yeah.
So just to make you aware, there was a duplication that got removed.
Also on my copy, it says that some accounts were replaced with other accounts, but other than that, it all looks in order.
Well, your total is 74,585.
Yes.
Okay. And the prior year total was 74,585. Motion to approve.
Second.
And then if anybody's got questions, now's a good time.
What type of
Cut out. Can we cut 25,000?
I need it all.
what type of change have you seen in revenue over the last year? Because have you guys raised fees?
I haven't finished raising the fees. And really, we've been, both of the departments that I represent here today, this one and MS4 next, were completely destroyed by the flood. So we've been out of our office. We just moved back. So we're still in triage. We're still getting things back to normal. I do have plans. I communicate that with some of you guys. I'm in regular communication with some of you guys.
And I do appreciate the updates on permits and all that stuff. That it's a great snapshot. So, real quick, the attorney, is that you're just helping to pay for the attorney out of some of this?
That's
or getting a separate attorney.
That's our board attorney.
Right. But you're adding it out of this account.
No, it was in a
No, it was in a
100 account. We
100
moved it to a 300.
They moved it from one account to the other. It was
Gotcha.
replaced
Never
with a
mind.
different.
Never mind. Never mind.
And we can't.
Never mind.
The biggest difference I think that I looked at that I saw when I looked at this was the maintenance contracts, and that's just because we haven't received all the invoices yet. By the end of the year, it'll even out.
All right. What's your preference?
We already.
You got a motion.
I had a motion. Earl seconded it. I don't know if anybody else has any other further. Shut up.
No more coffee for him in the afternoon. I got coffee. Another. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those opposed?
Okay.
All right.
MS4.
MS4,
Thank you.
158.
161.
Okay.
That's better. Mileage. 5,750 approved last year. For this year, 725 used. Can we cut a couple grand out of that?
They just haven't turned it in, or what's going on with that?
Our MS4 coordinator is a little lax in submitting that in a timely fashion. I did submit just last Friday another one for 529.80, which is probably not on your sheet. So that's about
1,200.
1250. Yeah, about 1250 right now.
So we move it to 3,000.
Previously, we had 2 employees drawing out of that. Now we only have 1, and like Chris said, he's not turned it all in. So this is one of them things where eventually it's going to get back to where it was. It's just not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not a year into this, so we're still kind of trying to feel our way on how we rebuild the program.
How about employee education and training? $10,000 approved, 922 used.
Let's see here. That, I don't know that that's going to go all the way up back to 10,000, but we seem to be missing whole line items than what we had when I ran this department years ago. The amount of the budget
76, 950. I think when I was running it, we were at 77, 78, 80. It's going to get back to there. Probably even a little more, but still at a substantial savings from compared to what other MS4s to our left and our right, to our east and our west are.
And I'd say also prior to us taking over, the salary portion was at 61. It's now 55. So that was a savings. The 10,180, the goal there is to kind of outreach and educate the contractors. We've had a couple of lunch and learns in that regard. And, we're still kind of, again, just starting this out,
So you're not sure exactly where, you're pretty comfortable with the total number, but you haven't figured out exactly how it's all gonna plug in and work out. Something might need to be shifted around. Or
Correct.
moved, like when you took over, that's what you did. You shifted some things around.
Yep.
Yeah. In the last budget hearing, we hadn't actually taken over yet, so I think you had commissioners in here doing it. We were still being run by consultants at that time,
Right.
but we need to put on some more learning workshops for contractors to make sure that they're compliant in the field before we go out there and red tag them and fine them and stuff like that. So we'll be doing that.
I'm just not sure if that's the right account for it, but let's not worry about that today.
What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Rosenbaum, seconded by Justin Keel. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Someone opposed. No.
Someone opposed.
Was screaming about it.
That was
I'll
me.
tell you.
Soil and water?
You threw your voice well.
That's you. All right, tapping out.
Yep. Thank you. What is it?
Yeah.
It's all 100?
Yeah.
Never
No
mind.
change other
Hold
than
it.
steps.
What number is it though?
Oh, 158.
158.
Backwards.
Uh,
10.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
It's 100.
All 100
Yeah.
anyway.
So we're.
But it's just steps.
All right.
Well, I guess we're talking wages later, so.
All right.
You're still hanging
Thank
around?
you. You're all done.
Would you like me to? I'm sure you guys want to get out.
It's all on you. It's all on you.
This is a true story. I drive all the way to South Bend to take my neighbor yesterday for eye surgery. Walk in this waiting room and I look over and there says Chris. We're shocked that we're this far from home and run into each other.
Oh.
I turn around and after I'd come in, someone else comes in and I know him. And then a third person comes in. I knew 3 people sitting in a waiting room with about 5 people total. And Chris and I sat and visited for a couple hours waiting on
Very
ice.
informative 2-hour conversation in the waiting.
That's wow. That's great.
Thank you, gentlemen.
World.
Next time you go and let us know. We'll
join you.
Could have carpooled, couldn't we?
go ahead.
Carpool, bring
Let's
food.
go ahead now. Take EMS real quick. 3:30 is what we're shooting for, right?
Yep.
Gotta go get
Numbers
that.
EMS.
EMS is 140.
Thank you.
EMS.
140.
Tomorrow sheet.
The only correction I have is we just got an increase from Current Electric, and that'll be on maintenance contracts on the general. It's at 16,000. If we can make that 17,500, we had a $1,500 increase for next year that I just got it last week.
It is on the first page, second
Maintenance
from the bottom,
contractor. What's that?
3007.
17,000.
500.
500?
17,500.
The only other thing that should have increased other than step increases would have been to the maintenance contracts. Well, you probably want to do them separate. It's out of public safety, so we can wait on that one. I'm assuming you want to do those separate.
Please.
Public safety's different.
Yeah. So that should be the only real change
Yeah.
on the 140s.
So I have a new subtotal of 4683238. Is that what you've got, Adam?
Let's see. 4683238.
Yep, okay. Just trying to verify.
No problem. Telephone.
This,
We have other supply, we have a big increase in other supplies. Is that because you've come to us before? We went from 23, we had reduced you from 52,500 down to 23,500, and now you're trying to put it back to the 52,500. Am
105,000.
I correct?
No.
It is 20021 in the middle of the page.
already in there.
Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 from the bottom of the first page.
Where are you at?
20021, other supplies. I think that's medical supplies, and we tried to reduce them a year ago until it come back, but then your costs are way up there again, so rather than go back and forth with.
Yeah, it's kind of, so those supplies are kind of split between the other supplies and the corporate compliance. Some we can buy from one, some we can't for the other, but yeah, it's we've seen some significant increases. Just for example, a box of IO needles over the last 4 years has increased by about 200%. So it's an uphill battle for sure.
I mean, to me, that was the biggest difference, and then there's another 5,000 in uniforms, so. But uniform costs are up too. And fully staffed?
No. No, we're still short 2 paramedics, and we haven't had a paramedic app since September of last year. So.
You got anybody applying?
Nothing.
What's with the EMTs? You're asking for a $238 increase?
That would just be a step increase.
$238?
Because of people that have left.
People left,
And
new
people
hires.
at a lower step.
Got it.
How it's washed out.
All right. What's your brother's pleasure?
Should we play games with the 1,500 or just let it go? I mean, because we could reduce something else by the 1,500, keep it with the.
Under which
For
one?
1,500, I don't care. Okay.
Do you want to take that out of that other supply?
Nope. Don't want to.
Okay.
I just throwing people options, which I probably shouldn't. I'll make a motion to approve with the change to 30007 maintenance contracts to 17,500.
17,500.
Motion by Rosenbaum,
Second.
second by Mr. Keel. Any other questions or comments?
17,500, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
17500.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Next one, public safety lit.
The only change in that from last year is also the maintenance contracts, and that's just because of the increase from this year to next year in those.
So we have 94,532. Is there a different change other than what
No.
you already gave us?
No, just an increase of that over the 89,859.
I didn't know if it was a new increase, that's all.
Nope. Should be as presented there.
And the vehicle cost, that's what we've contracted.
Correct.
And just to be correct, that's more than one ambulance, or is it two ambulances that we
2 and 25.
we had to order
Correct.
well in advance for those?
Nothing in 26.
And we're done.
For now.
We're not buying any more ambulances.
Partially true. So I have we can visit this after the first of the year, but we finally found a manufacturer that we're extremely comfortable with and have not had major module issues with. So we're looking at remounts to a savings of $150,000 to $200,000. Like, rough estimate to remount with paint, fixing paint issues on the module itself, we're looking at like 150,000 versus the 315,000 we're paying for a new ambulance right now. And I'm looking to start that in, we'll have to order in 26, but it won't be completed until 27. So it won't be, I have basically a replacement schedule figured through long after any of us are gonna be here. I mean, it's through like 2045 or something. But it's basically a cycle of remounts, cycle anew, cycle of remount, cycle anew. So for those years, it could
Extending
be
the life out of those.
correct.
Yep. Yep. Definitely.
So you're essentially just buying the E350 bare frame. Or E450.
450, yep. And they refab the module, remount it on a new chassis.
Got it.
What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve as presented. As a whole, it shows a $18,000 savings from
Yes.
last year.
Second.
Motion by Karanka, second by Rosenbaum. Any other questions or comments on that one? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
To answer a question you brought up earlier about money coming in.
Revenue?
Yeah. So currently our billing staff is through May. Most of that's just because we're short a gal right now in our billing. She was in an accident last year and recovery isn't going very good. We talked to her again today, but so far we've billed out just over 3 million in charges through May 1st. Our collection back has been about 1.3. But historically, I look back over the last 4 years, historically we bring in somewhere between 920,000 and 930,000 a quarter. Just to kind of give you an idea of what kind of revenue is coming back in from that billing. Again, last 10 years has been anywhere from a 42 to a 52% collection rate. It just seems like we hang in that high 40s, but it's been as low as 42 or as high as 52.
Is there any talk of, and this is way above your pay grade, but increases in the Medicare and different?
So there is. I don't know. They did a thing where if you're not a preferred provider, which we are, that they will pay up to 400% of what they are right now. So we're currently looking into, okay, well, you're doing that for these people that aren't preferred providers. What do we get out of it? Or is it more beneficial that we're not a preferred provider then? Are we going to recoup more? It just passed and went in effect July 1st. So no one really knows.
Keep us posted on that.
Yeah. So, and then we do the annual Medicaid, Medicare cost report to get that back. That did deposit last month, just over 92,000. So that's usually annually somewhere between that 90 and 100,000 mark that we usually get in June. And I believe, Justin, maybe you brought up last year about a training grant. We were successful with a training grant for $16,800 to reimburse our costs for medic class. So we're going to try to keep using that just to pay for itself, to keep rolling over to pay for our people to go to medic class. So we did get that, just to make you guys aware of that. So
Got it.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Any more good news? We can take it.
Auditor's office.
We can pass that to tomorrow.
Oh, you wanna do it?
Assume the position.
Can we do this
kidding.
tomorrow?
What?
It's 3:19. There's some,
He's gotta go at 3:30.
so
Earl can go.
we can skip it and go at
Get
3:20.
auditor in.
We can knock the auditor out.
Well, there's a lot more complicated than that, trust me.
Let's hold it over to tomorrow if you don't mind.
Only
You wanna, can we do the council?
we can do the council, yeah.
Let's do the council.
144?
I thought the auditor would be pretty simple.
I suggest we cut the console for next year by $7,000. I've been waiting all day to say that.
But you have.
So we have I'm not gonna say anything. Motion to approve.
County council,
What's the number?
not paid through payroll.
It's 144.
Where did it-
Somebody approved their budget, hear them all coming out.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
All coming down.
They are.
They're all coming to celebrate.
EMS is coming back. So,
a budget. Yay.
Do
So it's a wash.
we assume
It
that
can't be funny all.
but I guess my only question is, the attorney makes more than 16.8.
Right.
Why was that?
It's now
I see
grouped out
that
in-
down here, but why was that 16.8, if that wasn't his
Council,
total.
he's supposed to make the same as the council.
I think the 16.8 was actually, 450. I don't know why the 16.8 was there.
Was that the 18,
When we moved that
times 12
last year,
or no?
we increased that.
Was it
Council
450
rate right now
times?
is,
Do we have enough?
It's 1,400. I wonder if it was his
It should
old
be.
amount and then it
Could be.
changed last year but stayed there. I'm not sure, but it was needed to be moved this year, if you remember, to pay for, who is that?
In Irwin and Chile.
Because they billed more.
That would have been
the
the
attorney.
6,000, right, okay. All right, we're good. All right, what's your choice?
135.
Pleasure.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Adam, seconded by Justin.
Real quick question, so the attorney's working for the insurance, working for, so the number was, okay,
When he's working for the insurance, that's going through the commissioners.
okay. Never mind.
That,
Mr. Gaston?
Yes.
Yeah, so the only thing that's billed.
Where'd you come from? You just scared me. Holy.
To the council is the $1,884 a month, which is the same that the council members get.
Okay.
All the other work that is done, like the insurance claim, that gets billed to the commissioners.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Should it be higher than
No problem.
1884?
I just don't know, I don't know if we need to add any, that's what I was asking.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
So highlight for tomorrow on the auditor is the possibility of moving some of the professional services into the auditor's department versus just the commissioners. So we'll talk about that in the morning. I need to speak to Guy DiMartino on it and I'll reach out to him shortly.
Is there a meeting here tonight?
No,
Okay.
not for me.
All right.
We're going tomorrow.
Tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, we already see.
The planning board is not,
Planning board does not meet tonight.
I spoke with
thank
him
you,
about
that's
this.
the only one that I know meets on Tuesdays.
I'll get it.
Quick, close.
All right, no, wait a minute. So the auditor, if we could, if this is okay, we're gonna plug the auditor in at 10:30 where EMS was today. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So we don't,
They're gonna be here, it's a person's head.
I know, but I'm just saying, so they know what,
I said.
And where are we
Hold on.
putting IT?
where's IT going?
Well,
IT can
EMA.
go where Purdue Extension or EMA. You want morning or afternoon? Morning. We're 11:15.
7 o'clock in the morning.
Because, yeah, we're not gonna be here in the afternoon. We'll be all done. Early afternoon.
So, Mr. President, I also have one more thing that I want to say. I try to raise my hand during the discussion with Ms. Stevens. There's no way that, I deal with insurance all the time. There's no way. Hey, excuse me.
I think that's a nay vote.
There's no way that John Jones said.
Doug's in trouble.
Hey, we lost your voice.
That's my granddog. I'm sorry. There's no way that John Jones said that they can just pull their driver's license. Anybody who drives a county vehicle has to have their driver's record
It
pulled.
shouldn't matter if it makes $600 or not.
Has nothing to. Yeah,
You're
those
driving
are
a county
confounding the issues.
I-
The $600 an hour. The $600 that has to do with taxes and 1099s versus W-2s, but anybody, whether they're driving one day or not, if they're going to drive a vehicle, they need to have their need to have their driver record pulled.
Right.
So that's just my position on that.
I think you were also asking, Randy, if I'm not mistaken, but about drug testing as well, not just
So,
driver.
so anybody that drives a county vehicle, I believe it's a policy, like I said, people that ride lawnmowers get drug tested part-time, and it should be the same.
Anybody
Right.
that rides a desk or gets drug tested right now.
I get it.
So, I don't know about the drug testing policy, but I know if anybody's involved in a workers' compensation injury or an automobile accident, they have to immediately get drug tested. But I don't know about drug testing before because I'm not involved in that part of HR.
All right. Thank you. We're gonna recess until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock when we're gonna start off with GIS.
We're live tonight. We got a real quick question.